Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are once again. It's Thursday. It's 5 p.m. on the East Coast. It's 8 p.m. on the West Coast, or revert that. It's 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. It's Friday morning, 12 a.m. in London, 2 a.m. in Israel, and it's 9 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. Rest of it was right. Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of Talk Back Live. And we're going to be here for a whole hour. We're going to be here and we're going to entertain you. And in that hour, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. A lot of things, including some of the things that you want to talk about as well. And you can get involved in the program. And I'm going to tell you how we do this. We get involved in the program like this. Everyone who's here, you're watching us right now, you can join in the conversation as we talk to you right throughout the show by using your keyboard on your computer or, of course, on your iPhone or even your tablet, right? All you have to do is type in what you want to talk about. We'll see you right there on the big screen, and the rest is okay. We'll entertain all of your thoughts and ideas. We'll try to get it all in. And if there's something in particular that you want to talk about, anything at all, just let us know by typing it in. And I'll see you, and of course, we'll entertain it, and we'll get involved that way. That's how we do it. And for those of you who've been around with us for a very long time, we thank you so much. We're so grateful that you've been with us all of these years, and we hope that you stay with us. And for the rest of you guys, you already know the score because I just told you about it. And if you're just watching us for the very first time on Facebook, and YouTube and Instagram, that's where we are. 3 locations, and anyone will get you there. You just can't go wrong with that. It's all right there. And we thank you again for being along with us. So there you have it. Now, if you're watching us for the very first time, especially if you're on Facebook, we want you to take this time right now to tag all of your friends. I know you have a lot of friends on Facebook, and we know that you do. You're a very popular person. I know you are. And if you can't get all of your friends in, and we don't expect you to, maybe some of the friends, some that you think may be interested coming in here, that would be great, as many as others. But here's an idea. If you have so many friends that you can't handle tonight, why don't you do a little by little each week? Like more and more each week as we go along. Because the more the merrier. And if they like what they see, if they like what they hear, of course, they'll follow us and come along and be with us too. Because all they'll see is that notification when you tag them, and all they have to do is click onto that notification, and it brings them directly to us. No problem. It's just as simple as that. Just as simple as that. And those of you who are watching us on YouTube, keep in mind that I always encourage you to go onto my YouTube channel. If you're there right now, you can do it while we're talking, is to subscribe to it. All you have to do is take your mouse, drag it over, that arrow pointed over to subscribe, click on that button right there. And you're going to get it. It's no problem right there. You'll get it. It'll be right there for you. And if you're watching us on Instagram, don't worry about it. There's no problem. There's no problem. Watch us on Instagram. And of course, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is make sure that you're right there, and just make sure that, what am I talking about? Making sure. You don't have to do anything. What I want you to do is to make sure that you tell all your family and friends about us and let them know that we're on the air, and we would really appreciate that. We really would appreciate that. And let them know that we're there. And once they know that we're there, they'll come along and win. Because like I said, the more the merrier. And the more the people that'll come in, the better off it'll be. And so we really appreciate that. And so therefore, you, and especially all of you, tell your family and friends about it, okay? So that's where we are. Now, in the program, as we interact with you, we always do that. We interact with you, of course. And what we want you to do while we're interacting is to make sure. Let me see. Let me check out something here. I don't want to see live. This is live meeting is being live streamed. Okay, so we got that. That's okay. Anyway, let me get back to action. I was reading a couple of things that didn't make sense at the moment, but still didn't make sense right now. Okay, as I said, all you have to do is do all of the things I told you. And now, getting back to what I was saying before, we have in our program, what we do is we get together, and of course, we am I losing track? I'm getting notification all around from the producers, everybody. Okay, I think we're on this track. Okay, now on the program, as you know, that we have all of our usual things. We're back on track now. All of our usual things happen now. For instance, Brian Camp is coming on in just a few minutes from now. Okay, and we're going to link up with him directly to Charlotte, North Carolina. He's going to be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports. They say this guy's crazy, but it is. The latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. You'll get a chance to meet him. You'll get a chance to see him. If you're right on the screen, you'll get a chance to see him. If you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, however, if you're watching us on Instagram, you won't get a chance to see him. We don't have the luxury of doing that, but you'll get a chance to hear him. You'll hear him just the same. And if you have any sports-related questions of any kind, please feel free. When he comes on live, ask him, and he'll have the information for you. Now, what he sees on his computer, he may not see what I'm watching on YouTube and Instagram. So when that stuff comes up, I will relay all of those questions to him. So all you have to do is just do that. Just type it right in and I'll see you and we'll relay all of the questions to him. So that's coming up later on in the show. As a matter of fact, in just a few minutes from now in this particular half hour. Okay, is that okay with you? Okay. And later on in the program too, we have this feature, what we call This Day in History. This day, and I'm laughing, you got to be here to find out why. This day in history. And we talk about whatever happened on this day in history. And on this day in history, it's the 21st of March, March Madness, which we'll let Brian talk about when he comes in, because there's a lot of madness in March. But anyway, this day in history, we have all that information that's coming along too. And towards the end of the show, I have my picks of the week, And the picks of the week are in terms of movies. I take them directly from Turner Classic Movies, and I like to do that each week. And I'll tell you why I do that is because the weekend is coming upon us, not too far away. And on the weekend, you'll be doing a lot of things. Everybody has their own way of celebrating their weekend. And one of the things that some people like to do is just stay home and watch movies, especially if you're in one of those areas where the weather may be a little inclement and it'll keep you indoors. That's a good time to catch up on some movies, old movies, new movies. It's a good time. So I have my picks of the week from Turner Classic Movies, which I will relay to you a little later on, and you'll get a chance to see that. And you could add that to your list of what to watch this weekend. So we have all of that coming up. And as I said, we got a whole hour to do this. So thank you so much for being along with us. Remember, all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, Talkback Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinions of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or any other publication, Zoom, or any other social media outlet or broadcast publication. So there you are. It's nice being along with you once again. I can't believe how fast the time goes by. But we're glad to have you aboard, and we want to say hello to each and every one of you, particularly Mary. Mary is out there with us, so we want to say good evening to Mary, who's out from Brooklyn, New York. She's always with us, so thank you so much for being along with us. And as you already know, it's still the month of March, and we're still celebrating Irish American Heritage Month. Yeah, we are. We're still celebrating, although last weekend we celebrated St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day fell on a Sunday, but all the celebrations was on that Saturday, the day before. And I got to tell you, everywhere I went, I couldn't go any place without seeing all of the saloons and the bars and everyone crowded with people just celebrating, wearing their green and the shamrock and the whole nine yards. They were out there. And they were out there early during the day. And I just thought to myself, wow, they're out here early during the day. Maybe they're working in shifts, or maybe they have the stamina to hang out all day and all right through the night. But there was a lot of celebration going on. But the celebration of St. Patrick's Day is over, but we're still celebrating for the rest of the month, Irish American Heritage Month, right? Malady, right? Okay, and of course, we can't fail to mention that we're also celebrating Women's History Month. All right, there's another thing that we celebrate too, and there's a lot of things on TV and on social media that remind you of that, and people are displaying women who have done marvelous things over the years. You know, it's their time now, and they're doing marvelous things. And of course, you know, women have made great things out of themselves. Entrepreneurs, sports figures, and we talk about them here too. A lot of women in sports, and women who have been trailblazers over the years. And we talk about all of that. And if you happen to know a woman, and she doesn't have to be famous, you know someone maybe in your community that's made a difference as a woman, let us know. We would love to talk about that. We'll do it. Just type it right in there, and I'll see you right there. And we'll talk more about that. So again, Irish American Heritage Month and Women's History Month, it's all right there. And also, here's today, there's something that we're celebrating today, just one day only. Do you know what it is? I don't know if you care about it or not. We are celebrating National California Strawberry Day. Yeah, would you care to indulge here? I've got a lot of them here. We're celebrating here, and we're celebrating National Strawberry Day, right? And these things are good. I don't know if they're from California, but they're very good. They're very sweet. That's good. In with the celebration, we try to do that. Whatever we celebrate, we try to supply all of the goods, but these are great. These are great. You know what I like? I like downing it with water for some reason. Don't ask me why. I'm eating a bunch of strawberries. What I like to do, I like to have a cold bottled water. And while I'm eating it, I like to just drink it down. I guess it's the same equivalent of having that flavored water that comes in different flavors. I guess it's the same equivalent, but it's something about, don't ask me why. I've been doing that for a long time. You're just downing water with strawberries or any other kind of sweet fruit, you know, just doing that. But these are good. I'll have a few more later. But anyway, you have a supply of strawberries, fine. If you don't, here, I'll share mine. Anytime, you just raise your hand if you like, I'll pass them around. I want to tell you, when I say it each week, we have the new COVID-19 vaccination on supply right now, and it's the updated version. It's the updated version, and people are going out and getting theirs, and you ought to do the same thing. Now, do you remember, we reminisce about this a lot, and I think about it a lot, when we had that pandemic. And it was the worst thing that could happen to any one of us. If you lived in a big city like here in New York, big city, or even out in Las Vegas, it was like a ghost town when it first materialized. If you walk down Times Square, you wouldn't even recognize it, because you would say, where are the people? It looked like some scene out of a movie, out of a movie that's like maybe a Twilight Zone or something like that. No one was there. If you walk down the Las Vegas Strip, it was empty. If you're used to going, if you know New York, if you know Las Vegas or any other city that's really busy, and it wasn't during that time, you'll know what I mean. It was like a total ghost town. And I think about that a lot. And I think about how far we came with that. And so that just reminds me that if you're able, and I hope you are, and I hope you do it too, and do it for your children as well, make sure you go get your vaccinations. Now, you can go to your pharmacists around the corner, or across the street, or wherever they may be near you, and ask for it. Now, if they give it to you on the spot, that's good. Or they may say, well, we only do it by appointment. They may do it right there on the spot, the appointment right there on the spot, or they may tell you have to go online to do it. Either way, it would be good to do it. Now, when you make that appointment, please make that appointment and keep it. Keep that appointment. It's very important. And it's very important to me. It should be to you. So go get yours right away as soon as possible. Okay. All right. It's that time right now. We're going to go over to Charlotte, North Carolina. And time's going fast, really fast. It's 15 minutes past the hour right now. And Brian Camp is along with us. And he's direct from Charlotte, North Carolina, with the latest developments in today's world of sports. We're in the middle of the month now. It's almost over.
It's in the middle of the month, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on, not only for March Madness, but in all sports. Oh, scandals, allegedly people gambling, illegal gambling. My goodness. And the baseball season's just started. Where do I begin?
That's your job. Can't
I'll
help
begin with this. Mary, how you doing, Mary? How's everybody doing? Hope all is well. Good evening to everybody out there who's tuning in to wherever you are, globally, nationally, or locally. I greet you. Good evening here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina, where it is 62 degrees, and it was a beautiful day today. We went up to a high of 72 degrees. Yes, 72 degrees. And March Madness, we're going to get to that in a second. I got some NFL news, some football news. A third man was charged with second-degree murder in the connection with the shooting during the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade rally that killed a local DJ woman. Now, the person name is Terry Young, who's 20 years old, of Kansas City, Missouri, was also charged with unlawful use of a weapon and 2 counts of armed criminal action. So, as we all know, the Kansas City Chiefs just won the Super Bowl last month sometime, and during the celebration, it was a little chaotic. After the parade was just about to wind down, some shooting started popping out, and unfortunately, one person was killed, but a lot of people was injured during that time. So it was a sad day, but it was a parade to celebrate your Kansas City Chiefs, or who are fans out there. Also, coming up April 25th to the 27th is the NFL draft. So be aware of that, because you got to check for your local teams, the teams that you root for, how they play a role in this. They're going to be playing a very important role, because the draft is here, and you're going to have to build up your team. Some of the bad teams trade away their top choices, but just tune in and just to find out where your team stands. Major League Baseball. Got a lot to talk about with baseball. First of all, the season just started yesterday. Not in the United States, but in South Korea. Yes, in Seoul, South Korea, the opening game started yesterday, early in the morning, local time, at 6 a.m. There's a big hour difference as well. But it was the Dodgers against the Padres. That was the opening. They played again this morning. Only going to play 2 games. And the Padres came back and won the second game. Very good San Diego Padres. Anytime that you beat the Dodgers, or anytime a Dodger loss, helps me and my San Francisco Giants. So yes, they lost 15-11. But that's not the story. I have 2 stories about the San Francisco Giants. I want to start with that first. Longtime public address announcer Renee Brooks Moon are parting ways after the sides failed to reach an agreement on a contract extension. Now, Brooks Moon was one of baseball's first Black female public address announcer, and now will be the club's public address announcer emeritus, which means that they are retiring her, but she still has status as is just like if you're in a church or a deacon and you got emeritus or some kind of pastor who has emeritus, they're like more like retired or not in being active, but they still have title as not so much of an overseer, but just as a person who just stands by and give counseling as well. So that's where she's at right now. She's representing the Giants in the community as a volunteer activist and mentor. The booth at Oracle Park will be named in her honor. So congratulations to her. I'm sorry that they could not reach an agreement for a contract. Now, this is the big story that's been coming out today. The LA Dodgers interpreter for Shahu Tanti was fired after questions surrounding at least $4.5 million was wired, transfer sent from Otani's bank account to the bookmaking operation set off a series of events. Now, the interpreter is EPI Muzura, it was a longtime friend, is a longtime friend and interpreter of Otani. Occurred the gambling debts to a Southern California bookmaking operation that is under federal investigation, multiple sources told ESPN. So now here we are. We got the Pete Rose situation. You all remember that was happened a long time ago. Since then, it's been baseball has legal sporting now. In fact, all sports. You go to Vegas, not only in Vegas, but you go anywhere to place a bet. But apparently what they did here was illegal. So now there's a federal investigation that's going on, and this is not going to go away because Major League Baseball is in a rut right now where they need something bad. I mean, they need something good to regain the sport that they was once called American pastime. And this is right now, this is big. This is going to get bigger and bigger. And Otani is the face of Major League Baseball. Yes, Japanese-born player, great player. He's a pitcher and a baseball player that plays every day, but he's not pitching this year because he had surgery. But this is going to be big in the upcoming weeks, so we don't know what's going to happen, but rest assured you, I will keep sure that everybody is tuned in as well. Speaking about opening day for Major League Baseball in the United States will start on the 28th, which would be a week from today. So you got two opening days. You got one in South Korea with the Dodgers and Padres, and then you're going to get 15 games coming up next week. Make sure you check your local listings. In the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers coach J.B. Bickerstaff revealed he received threats from gamblers last season and reported it to the NBA. Now, Bickerstaff says that they got his phone number and was sending him crazy messages about where he lives and mentioned his children. Now, the gambler was found, but no charges were presented. Bickerstaff went to say that it's a distraction not only to him, but to players and other coaches, referees, and everybody that's involved in the game. So, here it is. Gamblers are coming back more and more. Now, we're not saying, we're not going to say on the show that games are being fixed. But who knows? We don't know. So we got to be very careful how we address this. But there is something fishy going on in Major League Baseball and in the NBA. We know about that NFL football, how that could be shady too. Everybody is trying to get paid legally, illegally. Also in the NBA, the Minnesota Timberwolves employee was fired. Here we go again. Arrested and charged with felony of a third-degree burglary for allegedly stealing thousands of internal files, including strategic NBA information from a team executive, Somak Secure, 33, who was previously served as coaching analyst for the Timberwolves, is in custody and faces a court hearing. We are in some serious, serious trouble when this happened. You know the old saying, where there's smoke, there's going to be fire. Stay tuned for that. Now, for some pleasantries. March Madness is here. Oh, did I fail you, or was I right? I was right. I'll tell you right now, I was right. Tip-off, first game started at 12 noon. We already had two upsets already. Two teams upset. The men's basketball is really off the charts, is off the chain. I'm watching, I got on screen right now, I got 4 games in one setting. 4 games that's on. And it is crazy madness. And that's why they call it March Madness. Teams are getting knocked off, favorites are being knocked off. There's some tight games as we speak, but we will not soon turn away. Wait till 9 o'clock and then you all could turn away, okay? Not on my time, not on the show here today. So we're gonna make sure we stay tuned here. I said it. That's right. So the men's, it's gonna be on all day tomorrow, into the night, tomorrow night, and tonight also as well. Game's going to be going up until 12 o'clock. That's only for the first weekend. So make sure you check your local listings, and we're not going to forget about the women. The women tournament is there too, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, and then you're going to be falling off your seat, your chair, and you might be cursing at the TV. So sometimes I get a little loose slip too. This day in sports, March 21st, 1946, Kenny Washington signs with the Rams as the first Black NFLer since 1933. 1953, NBA record of 106 fouls and 12 players have fouled out between the Boston Celtics and the Syracuse Nationals. 1955, Brooklyn Bulletin asked the Dodger fans not to call their team the Bums. Now, back in those days, the Dodgers was called the Brooklyn Bums. That was their nickname. That was back then. Then now they're just called the Dodgers. 1961, Art Modell purchased the Cleveland Browns for then a record sum of $3,925,000,000. It's a lot of money. Back then it was. 1985, Arthur Ashe is nominated for the International Tennis Hall of Fame. And 2019, Ichiro Suzuki finished his career with a record 4,367 hits, which is that was combined with Major League Baseball and overseas baseball. So he had a lot of hits. He got more hits than Pete Rose when you combine both of his careers playing in Japan and playing in the United States. Birthdays, 1937, Tom Flores, NFL coach and quarterback for the Raiders, was born in Fresno, California. 1939, Tommy Davis. Yes, remember Tommy Davis? Went to Boys High School. Major League Utility infielder for the LA Dodgers, was born in Brooklyn, New York. In 1963, Sean Dunson, Major League infielder for the San Francisco Giants, was also born in Brooklyn, New York. And happy birthday to Adrian Peterson, was born in 1985. NFL running back, was born in Palestine, Texas. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports on a busy day here.
Do you ever, I know that Major League Baseball, they're having a little problem right now, as far as attendance, but do you ever think the pendulum will swing back at some point?
Are you talking about baseball?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, because baseball is just not the same anymore. I mean, with the steroids and with the gambling, with the Pete Rose, and now this is popping up, and this is I tell you what might happen, and what probably will happen. They're going to protect Ohtani because he's the face of baseball.
Yeah.
And if they decide to connect him with this, this is a federal investigation. So the feds are not going to let this go, but Major League Baseball might let it go. Now, how serious is this? We don't know. So baseball is no longer the American pastime. It's just not.
Well, I'd like to think that sooner or later it'll come back, and because after all, the baseball season is coming up right now. And I kind of, maybe it's wishful thinking, but I'm just hoping that the enthusiasm is back this year at least. We'll see. We'll see. I think that the pendulum was because every situation has their downs, and that excuse me, and as they always say, the pendulum swings, and it comes back. But we'll have to see about that.
What's going to happen to me? I mean, to us as fans, we're going to always watch baseball. This is part of our generation. This is what we grew up. But baseball is taking a hit with ratings. They're making money with the cable and the owners are getting TV deals and everything. But they're trying to bring the younger crowd back to the game because that's why with all these rule changes and they're trying to get fans back by having the teams to score more runs. It's just not working. And if the Major League Baseball cannot afford for another hit like this, they just can't, because it's just not going to be good, and it's not going to look good at all.
I just thought of something too. It probably wouldn't happen, but it's just a thought. How some airlines, they lower their prices so you can fly with them, especially they did a lot of that when the pandemic was on, lower their prices. Maybe if they lower their admission prices, for a day or a particular day or a couple of days out of the year, maybe that'll help.
Well, that's not going to happen because this is the market. This is what it is. It's like a free agent. Free agent is not take a pay cut. Yeah. What's going to happen is that, or what happens now is that where there's a great team, like let's say the Yankees or the Dodgers is going into a low market team, like in, let's say, Seattle or Minnesota. Of course, Minnesota is going to raise the prices because they know that the Yankees or the Dodgers are going to bring in a lot of revenue, a lot of money. So that's what's going to happen for certain teams. But it's just right now, it's just not in a good place. Major League Baseball is not in a good place. The old timers are going to watch baseball like myself. I love baseball. I have an interest in baseball. You have an interest in baseball. We grew up on baseball. Baseball was the number one sport back then. But now it's just times have changed and it's not happening. I'm sorry to say it's not happening until they clear up and clean up their mess. And who gets blamed? The commissioner gets blamed. Because in order for you to bring back the fans, you gotta start marketing your sport. The NBA do a wonderful job. The NBA is run by players. The NFL is run by the owners. But they build up money, especially for Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, the commercials, all of that is money bringing in. So it's like the NFL and the NBA is like neck and neck, and baseball is like far back.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. But I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. And I just hope, they come out of that rut. But I always thought that somehow that situation with the juicing had subsided, because remember, it was big maybe about 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was out there. Everybody was taking it. And a lot of people, a lot of baseball players lost a lot of their status because of it, and a lot of people thought, let's say, for instance, Bobby Bonds was one of them. That's your boy, Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds. That's the son. He's the father. Yeah.
Right.
Barry Bonds. Yeah, he was caught up in it. Who else? A-Rod was caught up in it.
Mark McGwire. Roger Clemens. But the thing is, it has subsided some, but there are still players that are still taking illegal substance to build themselves up, to try to make them better.
Yeah.
There has been reports, I don't know how true this is. They said Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth was taking something, and Mickey Mantle. Yeah, I mean, Babe Ruth was eating a lot of hot dogs, but I mean, but still, if I believe everybody was taking something. If
Yeah.
you don't support, then no harm is done.
Yeah, I think Mickey Mantle's situation was alcohol.
Alcohol, yeah.
That was his thing. And I remember Joe Pepitone, I think his was marijuana before, because they legalized marijuana depending on different states. But back then, marijuana wasn't legal anywhere, and Joe Pepitone was on that. And so many things. But see, back then they protected the players. They didn't leak anything out. Today, everything is leaked out. The minute any player gets caught up with something, they leak it right out. The news press, they're like vultures. They just leak it right out.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
And maybe that's why Major League Baseball is down on its luck right now.
Well, baseball, again, we go back to 1919 with the Black Sox, the famous Black Sox with Joe Shoeless Jackson, where they paid the players to throw the 1919 World Series away. Then Babe Ruth came along to save baseball. But even from then, baseball had its issue when baseball was segregated. So 1947, Jackie Robinson, we thought baseball was back on track. But then, years later, same old story. It was a funny thing too. That I'm glad I brought that up. Jackie Robinson, I was watching the 1972 clip of the Oakland A's and the Cincinnati Reds. This is Jackie Robinson's last appearance before he passed away. And, when they introduced him, this is 25 years later after he was played into where he broke the color barrier. The applause was so weak when they introduced him. Even in 1972, from 1947 to 1972, 25 years later, when they introduced him, Jackie Robinson, it was like a very, back then the crowds were very, used to wear suit and ties to games and everything.
Yeah.
But, you could tell that in the stands that they didn't stand up on their feet. They didn't applaud. They give him a stand ovation. And when he said his last words was, I hope one day that I could see a third base coach or in near as a Black manager there. So that was in 1972. So we still got a long way to go. We still got a way to go.
And the beat goes and the beat goes on, but then again, you look back, it seems like situations are going backwards. They want to go back to the 50s, but then that's another show. That's another show.
That's another show. Yeah, with the Jim Crow laws. Another show. The time. This is sports.
Yeah. Well, we'll catch you back here tomorrow morning. Yes.
Tomorrow, yes, we'll be here tomorrow, and just trying to. Who knows what's going to happen in March Madness with these games? Every time I look up, the crowd is going crazy and everything. It's just unbelievable with these upsets, and these games are so intense.
Yeah. Well, listen, if baseball doesn't work out the way we want it, there'll be additions are coming in because we're going to have the Summer Olympics coming up too, coming out of Paris. So
yeah, maybe we could cheer for our country to get together.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll catch you back here tomorrow morning.
Everybody have a good evening. See you later.
Yeah. That was Brian Kemp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. He's always here with us, bringing us that. And it's always a great thing to talk to him about sports and beyond sports. We talk beyond sports, but everything with sports. There's a lot going on, as you already heard, and I look forward to what's happening this summer. As I said, baseball, of course, I always look forward to, but then the Olympics come along, and it's going to be a great thing to see. The Summer Olympics, and this time in Paris. And as he said, Major League Baseball started already. They're out officially. They're officially there. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And of course, we're going to be here till the top of the hour. We got a lot of things. If you feel so inclined to talk to us as well, if you have any particular questions for Brian with sports at any time, you could just type it in right there. I don't know if he lingers on when he gets off the air here, but if he sees it when you type it in, of course, he'll answer the question for you. Anyway, we're going to be here, as I said, to the top of the hour, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time, don't you think? I think it's about that time. It's about that time to go back in time. On this day in history, in 1917, you remember that year? Loretta Walsh becomes U.S. Navy's first female petty officer. On this day in history, in 1922, KGWAM in Portland, Oregon brings their first radio transmission. On this day in history, 1940, Rebecca, that was directed by Alfred Hitchcock, and it starred Laurence Olivier and Joan Fontaine. It premiered in Miami, Florida, and made the Oscars Best Picture of 1941. On this day in history, in 1952, 20,000 people attempted to attend a first rock and roll concert ever, with Allan Freed, who present the Moondog Coronation Ball at an old 12,000 seating arena out in Cleveland, Ohio. And the performers include Paul Williams, the Hucklebuckers, Tiny Grimes, the Rocklanders, the Highlanders, I should say, the Dominoes, and Vernetta Dillard. They all appeared there that time. On this day in history, 1956, the 28th Academy Awards go to Marty. That starred Anna, I can't remember her being in it, but it says it here, Anna Magnegni and Ernest Borgnine. Great picture. On this day in history, 1961, the Beatles made their first appearance at the Tavar Club in Liverpool, England. Back in 1965, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. begins march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. Back in 1966, American musical drama series Ben Casey, starring Vince Edwards and Sam Jaffe, ends a 5-year run on ABC TV. Back in 1967, the musical comedy film Thoroughly Modern Millie, starring Julie Andrews, Mary Tyler Moore, and Carol Channing, premieres at the Criteria Theater in New York City. Back in 1980, on the season finale, the cliffhanger on TV shows Dallas, one of your favorites, Brian, back then, the villain J.R. Ewing was shot by an unknown assailant. I remember that night, people, wherever they were rushing home to find out who did it. In 1982, the movie Annie, directed by John Huston, starring Eileen Quinn and Albert Finney and Carol Burnett, premiered. In 1984, part of the Central Park in New York City was named Strawberry Fields. And that's in honor for John Lennon. Strawberry Fields in honor of John Lennon. And speaking of, Strawberry Fields forever. Okay. In 1988, the 23rd Academy of Country Music Awards go to Hank Williams Jr., Randy Travis, and Reba McEntire. In 1990, it's a big strawberry. In 1990, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof opens at the Eugene O'Neill Theater. That's in New York City after 149 performances. In 1997, the film Selena is released. Remember Selena? It was based on the real life story of Selena Quintanilla Perez, starring Jennifer Lopez. Good movie. In 1930, actor James Coco was born on this day. Born in the Bronx, and he died in 1987. In 1934, actor Al Freeman Jr. was born on this day. He died 2012. Back in 1949, singer Eddie Money, who made the big hit 2 Tickets to Paradise and Take Me Home Tonight. He's born in Brooklyn, New York. and he died 2019. Back in 1951, Russell Thompson Jr. of the Stylistics was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's 73 years old today. Actor Matthew Broderick, born on this day in 1962 in New York City. He's 62. Comedian Rosie O'Donnell was born on this day in 1962 as well. She was born in Commack, New York. She's 62, as I said. In 1941, actress Hattie McDaniels weds real estate salesman James Lloyd Crawford, and they got divorced in 1945. In 1962, actor Rex Harrison weds actress and third wife Rachel Roberts in Genoa, Italy. Back in 1963, singer and actress Barbra Streisand marries actor Elliot Gould. In 2009, actor Bruce Willis weds model and actress Emma Heming. In the year 2014, which only seemed like yesterday, Italian tenor Andre Bocelli weds his second wife, Veronica Barthi, in Italy. In 2015, country music singer Jason Aldean weds former American Idol contestant Brittany Kerr in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. In 2015, country music singer Randy Travis, we already mentioned him already, he weds longtime girlfriend Mary Davis in Texas. On this day in history in 1975, country singer Tammy Wynette divorced country singer and songwriter George Jones after 6 years of marriage. In the year 2018, or I should say 2008, singer-wife Marcia Grace divorces comedian Robin Williams after 19 years of marriage. Native American Pocahontas died on this day in 1617. In 1987, Dean Martin Jr. dies in a military aircraft crash at the age of 35 years old. In 1987, actor Robert Preston dies of lung cancer at the age of 68. In 2005, cabaret singer and pianist Bobby Short dies at the age of 80. And finally, 2017, Chuck Barris, TV game show host, producer, and the host of The Gong Show, dies at the age of 87. But that's it. On this day in history, I still have that strawberry that didn't chomp down yet with the good strawberries. If you happen to know anything that's happening on this day in history, I didn't mention it, and you have the bright mind to remember all of those things, please let us know. Type it in there. I will certainly bring it up there and make sure everybody else knows about it. No more strawberries tonight. That's it. I'm finished. Finito. Okay. Just in case you want to get in touch with me, ladies and gentlemen, I have a way that you can do that, because a lot of people, they like to talk online with me, which is good. But those of you who don't, but just like to get in touch with me, I have two ways you can do that. I have an email address and a telephone number. I'm going to give you the email address first. It's frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. Allan is spelled A-L-L-A-N. Prod is P-R-O-D. That's short for productions. And if you don't get that Allan spelled right, I'll never get the email. You know that, right? You have to spell everything right. And so that's frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. The telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. Now, when you get in touch with us, you can do it for various reasons. You can talk about the show. You can say, yeah, I saw you on the air. I'd like to know more about it. Or I have an idea how you can improve that show by taking you off. I'll listen. I can't guarantee you, but I'll listen. Or you could say, hey, I have an idea. I like to see this person on the air. I want you to interview this person. I love this person, so I want you to interview that person. And we'll try our best to accommodate all of you. Because And even if you want to critique the show, that's good, especially because it helps us out. It doesn't hurt us, it helps us, because we would like to know your input. We would like to know what you like, what you don't like, and how we can make things better, because we are not perfect people here. None of us. You're not, I'm not. And it's always good, and there's always a lot of room for great constructive criticism. So we invite you to do that. So keep all of that on hand, that information I just gave you. Keep it in your phone book. They don't even use phone books anymore. I was going to say Rolodex. I still have mine on my desk. It's just there just to take up space. You could also put it in your phone, which is the place to put it, in your computer, where you can get access very easily, right? And keep that information. So I'll give you that email address once again. It's frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. The telephone number, once again, is 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. Okay, let's get to a little serious business right now. And I'll keep the strawberries aside so I don't choke off of them and it doesn't slow me down. Okay, get to a little serious business. Now, we already know the situation that's happening in America. And of course, a lot of us are concerned about it because, we have an upcoming election coming up, which, by the way, we're 229, exactly 229 days from Election Day, which is November 5th, 2014. 229 days away from Election Day. Now, I'll tell you something. Time goes fast, and it'll be here just before you know it. And I figure I'd bring it out now because we're getting to the point now where we already know who's going to run against each other. We already know it's no longer Nikki Haley is out of the scene, except you have one person who wants to make it a third-party election, which is not going to materialize, but we'll get that in a minute. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you already know that because he's independent. So you have a Republican, you have a Democrat, and you have a third party in the that's running as well, which is independent. All right. We ask you to use those votes wisely because, ladies and gentlemen, this time around is so serious. And this depends, your vote depends on what's going to happen. Now, I never tell anyone who to vote for. That's up to you. But if you were to ask me who not to vote for, I will tell you, but I don't want to be put in that position, so I won't tell you. But if you are looking to save democracy, if you're looking to keep your freedom, women, if you're looking to take charge of your own life and decide what happens with your body, if you're looking for that, then you know who to vote for. If you're looking for treasonous, and personally, ladies and gentlemen, I do not want a treasonous or anyone that's a rapist or commits crime and currently under 91 indictments. I'm not looking for anyone like that to be in the White House. I'm looking for someone who doesn't necessarily have to be pure because none of us are, but I'm looking to save democracy. I'm looking for freedom. I'm looking for liberty. And speaking of liberty, remember that old saying years ago, give me liberty and give me death? Remember that? That phrase was done, that was at a speech. You know who did that? Patrick Henry did that in his speech back in 1775. As a matter of fact, it was March 23rd. 1775. Now, March 23rd is 3 days away. So when that day comes around, that would make it exactly, I'm not good on math, but I had to figure it out myself. So I had to figure it out before I brought it to you because I'm not a mathematician. I suck in math. But March 23rd will make it 249 years ago that he did that speech, give me liberty and give me death. I was never in love with that phrase, give me liberty or give me death, because you have to watch what you ask for and how you ask for it. When you choose something, give me liberty, give me death, So I'm not looking for death. I'm looking for liberty. So here we are from 1775 to this day, 2024. And I say to you, you know, the hell with give me liberty or give me death. Take liberty. I don't want you to give me liberty. I'm taking liberty because it's my right as an American citizen. It's your right as an American citizen to take liberty, which is why I say, again, if you're going to vote, make sure you know who you're voting for. You don't want your liberty taken away. You don't want anything, your freedom, your democracy, any of that taken away. And so I figure I'd bring that up because I think it's about time now, since election day is getting closer and closer and closer than you think. Vote. And I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I'll tell you who not to vote for. Just vote. Remember, that's coming up, and I'll keep it going each week. Keep reminding you to vote each week. All right. Think about it. Use your head. Use your head. We have movies to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Those movies, of course, I always bring them to you because I know the weekend's coming upon us. And of course, you like to do certain things on the weekends. I like to do certain things on the weekend. But one of the things that some of us like to do, and I do it myself whenever I get a chance, is to catch up on some old movies. Now, each week I go on to Turner Classic Movies and get my picks of the week and bring them to you. And these are great movies, so I'm going to get started with them now so you know all about it. Let's get started. Here's a good one. I love it. It's not a black and white. It's not a classic, but it can be a classic depending on how you look at it. You're a sports fan. This is a good one. And it's a true story called Brian's Song, back in 1971. James Caan, Billy D. Williams, and Jack Walden. That's on Turner Classic Movies. You can check it out this Friday. In our case, that's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Brian's Song. It's a great movie. The Autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, 1974. Cicely Tyson plays Jane Pittman, and that's on Turner Classic Movies. That's Saturday at 2 a.m. Eastern. That's Friday night, Saturday morning. But if you're not up, you can't stay up that late, DVR it and watch it at your very own convenience later on. Here's another one, A Raisin in the Sun from 1961. Sidney Poitier, Claudia McNeil, and Ruby Dee. That's on Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday at 1:45 a.m. Eastern. Edge of the City, another Sidney Poitier movie from 1957 with John Cassavelli and Jack Walden. And that's on Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 4 a.m. Eastern. And Sunday in New York, a 1963 comedy starring Cliff Robinson, Jane Fonda, and Rod Taylor. That's on Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday. Appropriate day is Sunday for a Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then you have High Society from 1956. This is a spinoff from the classic movies, The Philadelphia Story. And this one, High Society, stars Bing Crosby, Grace Kelly, and Frank Sinatra as Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you get a chance, go on Turner Classic Movies, go through the program guide, because there may be other movies that I didn't mention that you may like and you want to check out and you want to add to your bucket list on what to watch this weekend. And that's always a good idea. And while you're there on demand, there are a lot of great movies, free movies. There are movies that are pay-per-view movies that are in theater now that you can watch from the comforts of your own home, and movies that wasn't too long in the theaters, but now you can still watch it at home. And of course, they have great documentaries, sporting events, and if you like Lifetime movies, which I do a lot, you can see what's available there, and a whole lot of things you can check out. So please do that. Let me just do these movies one more time. You got Brian's Song, James Caan, Billy D. Williams, and Jack Walden, Turner Classic Movies at 8 p.m. Eastern. The Autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman on Turner Classic Movies. That's Cicely Tyson, Saturday at 2 a.m. Eastern. A Raisin in the Sun, Sidney Poitier, Claudia McNeil, and Ruby Dee. That's Sunday at 1:45 a.m. Eastern. Edge of the City, John Cassavelli, Sidney Poitier, and Jack Walden, Turner Classic Movies, Sunday at 4 a.m. Eastern. And then you have Sunday in New York, 1963 with Cliff Robinson, Jane Fonda, and Rod Taylor. That's on Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 4 a.m. Eastern. And then you have Sunday in New York, 1963 with Cliff Robinson, Jane Fonda, and Rod Taylor. That's on Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 4 a.m. Eastern. And then you have Sunday in New York, Rod Taylor, Turner Classic Movies, Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And High Society with Bing Crosby, Grace Kelly, and Frank Sinatra. That's Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. I hope you will like these movies. As a matter of fact, I know you'll like these movies, so check them all out. That's going to wrap it up for me, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoyed the night. I hope you did too. I'm going to come back here on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for the coffee hour. I hope you will be here with me. Brian Camp will be here with me with the latest developments in today's world of sports. If not, come back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of Talk Back Live. Brian Camp will be along with me as well with sports, and we'll celebrate together. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant good night, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allan. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.